Hi, I'm Suzanne Clegg of SpiritGate.com. Today I'm going to show you how to hit a tuning fork using the Octave Holistic Healing Approach. This means that we're going to look at the physical qualities of how to hit the fork, the life force qualities in me as I hit the fork, the octave of emotions and images, and the octave of higher vibrations. So let's start with the physical. We have to look at the physical objects. We have to decide which size, because that's like a physical parameter of that. I'm going to go into that. I go into that in real detail. That's like a whole 2 or 3 day workshop of how to choose which fork. Right now we're just talking about how to hit them. But the different octaves require different, these are all different octaves of the same note, and they all require different physical things. So, for example, this mid-range fork requires a sort of a soft surface to hit it on. The high octave one requires a harder surface to hit it on. The other thing you need to think about is the angle that you hit the tuning fork with. So when you hold the fork here, you don't want to hit it like flat, and you don't want to hit it flat that way. You want to hit it right on the edge of one of the tines, either that way or that way, but not flat, not flat. Alright, and you need to sort of flick it. You can't go like that. That doesn't work either. You have to kind of have a light hand. And speaking of hands, this hand, when you hit the fork, it wiggles. See how it gets blurry? That's because it's wiggling, and it makes a sound. So if I was to touch, I can show it easier on this one. This is a low frequency one. See, you can really see that. If I touch it up here, it stops wiggling. Let me do that again. If I touch it up here, it stops wiggling and it stops making any sound at all. So you want to be able to make sure it's wiggling. So you hold it down on the stem of this. And now how to place it. We have to physically place this on the body. You can do it around the body, of course. That's pretty simple. But what we do with Acutonics is we actually stimulate acupuncture points with the tuning fork. So you like that, and then you press. And during my Acutonics classes, we really get into exactly how hard to press and what to think about. I'll give you a taste of that right now. So that's this is a belted activator, and I wear this, I fasten this around my leg so that I can just hit the tuning forks on my leg while I work with the patients. Alright, so that takes care of most of the physical things. Now the next octave up is the octave of life force. Now the tuning forks are not alive, but I am. So what I do is I'm very aware of the fact that I am the one activating the forks. I'm not using an oscilloscope with a probe to stimulate people's acupuncture points. I, as a human being with my life force, am activating the fork, which means that every single time I hit it, even though the same note is done, there's something slightly different happening. So to activate my life force, I breathe, because when I'm breathing, I'm alive. And I just sort of like center myself, and that's how I bring a life energy to the process. And then when I'm actually applying the tuning fork to my hand, I'm just very aware that my human presence is connecting with the human presence of the acupuncture point. Alright? Now the next level up is the octave of emotions and images. So the tuning forks don't have emotions, and they don't create images that I'm aware of. They're pretty inanimate objects. I have to animate them, so the images need to come from me. And so what I like to think about is I like to open my heart to the possibility of healing. So if you're my patient, I care about you. I actually invite a part of you to respond to the treatment. Now if I'm doing myself, I also open my own self to the possibility of healing. I actually think warm thoughts about me. I actively open my heart center to the possibility of healing. That's how I work that way. When I'm doing this on myself or people, I actually get inspired with images. And since I'm a medical intuitive, my images, this is something that enhances my intuition. So I actually pay a lot of attention to the images that come to me. But if you're not like a medical intuitive, you just basically think kind thoughts, opening your heart, and having a warm feeling towards it. Now, the higher vibrations. Now, one way you can get higher vibrations is just to hit a higher octave of tuning fork. But this is still a vibration that we can hear. What I'm talking about here is a spiritual vibration, one that's so high it's like the vibrational speed of thought. So to do that, I ask a prayer. I ask that a higher information, a higher source, God, can work through this sound. It's a little prayer. I call it little because it's so gentle. It's not little in terms of how it affects you, though, because as you get into this law of higher vibrations, it's like less is more. So the sweeter, the gentler, the lighter of the asking seems to be the most powerful. When we're bossing the universe around, it doesn't seem to work as well as when we just gently ask. Okay? So that's how you hit the tuning fork, the octave holistic way.